Okay, I will start.
Yes.
Mm, okay, so um, in- I'm Kesara Sastrin Prasita Negara. You can call me Sastrin, and my bachelor was in veterinary medicine, Universitas Gadjah Mada, and then my master was in Wageningen University and Research, the Netherlands. So now I'll give you tips and tricks how to improve your English, especially TOEFL ITP and IBT, also IELTS. So what I'll give you today is types of English tests, my English, and then improving your skills, TOEFL ITP tips, TOEFL IBT and IELTS tips, and then TOEFL ITP, IBT, and IELTS tricks. For the English test, there are academic English proficiency tests. This is held by Universitas Gadjah Mada for postgraduate programs, so for master and doctoral programs. And the test of English for international communication is for non-native speakers for workplace occasions. So when people going outside the countries to work, they need this type of test, TOEIC. And then TOEFL like PBT and ITP. So this is a test of English as a foreign language and institutional testing program, but this is a prediction test, so it's not official, but I think it's important for us to practice this. And then TOEFL PBT and ITP, this is the real one, so this is official and it's accredited by ETS. And then TOEFL CBT and IBT, this is also accredited by ETS. This is a computer-based and internet-based TOEFL. And IELTS is International English Language Testing System, and this is accredited by British Council, IDP, Cambridge. And this is the difference here between the IELTS and IBT is that IELTS is that we meet the interviewer or the examiner in person, while in IBT we use computer. And then the tests that I took were TOEFL likes, and then the official test of TOEFL ITP, and then IELTS. But the international recognized tests, there are the IBT, TOEFL IBT, and IELTS. So my English course, as you can see here, this is the TOEFL like PBT, and there is no ETS logo, so it's not official. And for the official one, as you can see, there's the logo here, the ETS. So this is an official score of certificate of TOEFL ITP, while for the IELTS, there's also logos of the British Council, IDP, and Cambridge English. Okay, so what I did was I planned before I was entering my veterinary bachelor study. So I already planned to go abroad since I was in high school. And fortunately, when I entered veterinary medicine study, I was assigned in the international class, which the classmates were from Malaysia, with Chinese, Malayan, and India. This situation improves my English skills, especially in writing and speaking. And actually, after that, I can choose to not enter the same class every year, but I still choose to enter this class because I want to improve my English. And then in 2011, after 1 year of my study in veterinary medicine, I joined the English extension course of Sanata Dharma University. So this course has classes which has a first year and a second year certificates, and for the first year is more the basic one, while the second year is more advanced. And this course improved my English in every skills. So I think this is very recommended for the ones who just started their bachelor study. So because it needs time, and or for someone who is still have more time to join this course, I really recommend you to join this course. This is very a good one. And then in 2012, I started to take TOEFL live test, and uh, because during that time there's no like online test that we have now. So at that time I take TOEFL live Swift in Swift English schools, and it improved my confidence and stage fright. Also, then I really take the official test in Lembaga Bahasa Universitas Gadjah Mada for applying LPDP scholarship, and then I get the scholarship. So after I get the scholarship, I really practice. Well, actually, before that, I already practiced my IELTS after I graduated from the Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine. So I have two um, degrees of Bachelor of Veterinary Science, and then the Doctor of Veterinary Science. So when I graduated from the Bachelor of Veterinary Science, I already started to look for scholarships and to practice my English in TOEFL, but also I started to learn about IELTS. And during that time, I already take IELTS like tests a lot in IONS. And after I'm quite confident and I already get the scholarship of LPDP, then I took the British Council in Jakarta and also IDP in Yogyakarta. So then I get the IELTS with the appropriate score, and I can go abroad as I planned. So the message here: set your goal, make your schedule, and plan. So improve your skills. First, of course, you need to know there's a basic skills in every skills. You need to know this to really understand these skills. And for learning, it's really understanding the skills. So not only knowing but understanding. And growth. So you have to understand your growth, your starting point, where is your skill now, and what you need to improve to get a higher um, skills that you want to meet the standard. And so then training is the key. So you need to practice to improve your skill. It's a must. And then when you get the standard competence, then you get the ability of the skills that you want. After that, you still need to train yourself because you need to keep your skills, and advanced training is the key. So the message here: laziness may look inviting, but only work gives you a true satisfaction. This is from Anna Frank. And give you tips about TOEFL ITP. TOEFL ITP includes reading, listening, and structure and written expression. For the reading tips, of course, because it's reading, you need to read often, and you have to read the text with different kind of topics, the topics that you like, but also the topics that you don't like. So any topics. So try to read different variety of text, and also try to make a question about the text and try to answer the question that you made about the text. And also use grammar. It means that you check the grammar of the text, is the independent clauses or the dependent clauses, and check the pronouns they refer to, for example, the who, that, which, or whom. And then also expand your vocabulary by reviewing glossaries. For example, in medicine, there's also glossaries usually at the end of the book, or in other study, usually they have glossaries. You can look at the glossaries, and also you can study new words related to a topic. It means that if you already understand about a topic, for example, a veterinary medicine, and you just know a word that's new for you, you try to relate this word to other words that you already understand about, and it's included in one topic. So it helps you to really uh, get that new word and to remember that new word. And also try to make synonyms and antonyms, so you get a broader words. And then also make your own dictionary. So it's not the dictionary that you can find anywhere, but it's your own. So the dictionary that you just know new words, and you write it down, and you keep it, and you try to read it again to remember the new words that you already have. And then analyze words, analyze the roots, prefix, and suffix, word families, and also try to practice based on context, and also read dictionaries. This is the real dictionary, not your own, but the real ones. And also organizational styles. So try to understand the main idea and the supporting details of the idea, and try also to make a summary of text, and also identify the connecting words or the transition, and also read argument text. So the main idea of the both arguments, because arguments have usually like a positive or negative sides, and try to really understand each of the main idea of both arguments. And then listening tips. So for listening, of course, listen every day. So also like reading, so try to listen to different types of recording, and try to answer the 5W and H. It means who, why, where, when, wh- uh, who and why and how. And then also get the main idea of the recording, and write new expressions that you hear, idioms or new vocabularies, and also maybe listening to a podcast, and also try to get the idea of the recording of the podcast. And use resources. It means like listen information in English, like the news, or the weather forecast, or you can also watch in English, watch in YouTube, watch TV, watch movies, and also you can practice with English speakers. Usually that they want to learn your own language. So there's a friend that already get a kind of friend that wants to learn Indonesian, and she wants to learn English, and they can like practice together. But if you're lucky, but if not, then try other tips. And also listen to academics. So this is a more formal recordings, like watching lectures. Try to get the ideas of the lectures and make a summary of the lectures. Usually the structure of the lecture with introduction, body, and then conclusion, and also the styles of organization like cause and effect, etc. And also try to pay attention of the signals, so the new vocabularies, and usually they have the intonation, so up and down, and also the expression, the word choices. It's show their expression. For example, if they are sad or they are angry or disappointed, usually they have some some kind of words. And also identify the pauses when recordings, and try to pay attention to the numbers like the price, time, address, and also the verbs. If it's happening in the past, or is it now, or is it in the future. And for the structure and written tips, make a summary. So listen or read and make a summary with the correct grammar, check and recheck after that. And then translate into English. So find an article in your own language and try to translate it into English, but use a correct grammar, and then check and recheck it again. And then define each word in a sentence. So for example, in one sentence, try to define which one is the verb, which one is the to be or the adverb of time, or the subject, and then also other functions in a sentence. And also try to combine sentences. So one sentence is combined into two or three sentences with conjunctions like reason, result, examples, comparison, or process or conclusions. And then keep journal in English. This is also what I did. So I think it's a good one to make a diary in English and try to make it in a correct grammar. So then you have to check and recheck again. So for tips of TOEFL IBT and IELTS is similar because they have the similar um, things. They have reading, listening, writing, and speaking. For reading and listening, I already gave you tips in TOEFL ITP. It's the same. And for the writing and speaking, I'll give you now. For the writing tips, especially in IELTS, there is a description. So try to practice to describe a picture, graph, or bars, and try to explain it in essays. And in both TOEFL IBT and IELTS, they have controversial issues. Try to find the differences and similarities, and try to do a writing task in which these points are related. And then the organization of good paragraph and essays. So you should understand what is a good paragraph and essays. So a good paragraph usually have one main idea, and it's stated mostly in the first sentence. And then each paragraph discuss one aspect of an essay. So it's like so it's smaller, getting bigger, getting bigger. So from the paragraph, it's getting to the text or the essay. And how ideas support position. This is actually how the ideas support this position. Read your opinion, read an opinion article, then write your own opinion essay. So make an outline and write the supporting details, and check and recheck your essay. And for speaking tips, of course, you need to practice speaking. So try to speak a limited time of speaking, discuss a various topic with a friend or a partner that also want to practice their English. Discuss, for example, your past or your future plan and your opinion about a topic. And then also study by listening to a podcast and try to study the pronunciation, the stress and the intonations, and mark the pauses. The stress means like intonation. It will be like a longer intonation. So nay is the stress, and also the intonation is how it's go up and down, like intonation, nays kind of up. And then try to imitate how they speak. And also try to mirroring or shadowing or imitating. Choose, for example, one character from a movie or TV and imitate how he or she speaks, including the gesture. Also read loud for yeah, read an article and try to read it by your speaking and record your speaking. Check your stress and intonation. You can use it Google's Translate for that. And also compare. So listen to native, uh, find the content, and try to record yourself with the same content, and then compare your recording with the native speaker and check the differences, what you need to improve. And then, okay, break what you mean you need to in your mind, which one is your English test target and why, and what is your goal. So please comment. And okay, maybe one. Okay, I will continue the tricks. So this is what I do every day. So I because I like games, so I play game, and it is for training my English skills, elevate, and it includes all skills of English. Also include also the calculations, the math, because I study in life sciences, especially in biology more. Veterinary medicine is more biology, so it's more remembering rather than math. So I think this improve my skills in math as well. So I need to keep my math skills. So I play this game. And also this is from a friend that already we had before in a previous mini webinar, and he is from Frisri. He said there's a future learn course about IELTS, so I think this is a good one if you want to do the IELTS test. You can try to join this, and it's free. Also make a daily schedule, so help you focus. Make a to-do list what you want to do for the next day, and then know the type of questions. So this is the trick. You have to know what kind of question usually it's in each of the test, English test. And then know the differences between your language and English. So I think it's good thing that you make your weaknesses your strength and make your strength your opportunities. Okay, know the type of questions. So the reading and listening, it's similar for TOEFL IBT, ITP, and IBT, while for IELTS is a bit different. And for the writing and speaking, the IELTS and TOEFL IBT is similar. And structure and written expression, it's only finds in TOEFL ITP. Okay, for the reading, this TOEFL ITP and IBT. So it's mostly you have to read the question first and then try to find the answer in the passage. Usually the questions are in order with the passage. So for example, question number 1 usually in the paragraph 1, 2 paragraph 2, something like that. And then try to find the main idea of the passage. And for the synonyms, if you don't understand the word, you can input the word into the sentence and feel if it's fitted to the context. And what happened in the text, usually you can find the keyword in the question and then try to find it in the text. And what can be inferred, also find the keyword of the someone in the text and understand explanations in the text. And it refers to, find the first it word, check if the it refers to the previous sentence. So usually when you find the it word in the text and then understand which it refers to in the previous sentence, that's what my tricks. And then for the reading tricks IELTS, so there are 3 sections: true, false, not given. Yeah, you have to understand the passage, not mentioned in the passage. Usually read the options first in the questions and then trying to find in the passage which is not stated. And mostly read the question. For reading, read the question, and then after that find the passage, which include to classify which options, also fill in blanks, also which paragraph contained the information. Usually you have to read the question first and then find it in the passage. And for the listening, TOEFL ITP and IBT, of course you have to understand the recordings, and usually the answer will never be the same word or a similar sound. It will be the synonyms. And the questions usually are also in order with the recording. So the first question, you see the first part of the recording, and the second part is numbers second, something like that. And what does imply? Read the question and understands it. And the main idea of the recordings, what was it about? So of course you have to understand recordings to know the main idea. And what I always do, always read the questions before the recordings already started, because in yeah, that's if you can. And then for the IELTS, there are 4 sections for conversation and passage. Fill in blanks, try to find the correct word, and which contained information. Read the question first and then listen. This is also the same, read the question first and then listen. Try to already read the question before the recording started. So the question and answer always in order with the recording. Read the options in the question, then listen to the answer in the recording. And for the tricks of writing, this is for IELTS and TOEFL IBT. For the IELTS, there's section 1, which describe the visual information like graph, table, chart, diagram, and I think practice is the key. And for the TOEFL IBT, the section 1 integrated, so we should to make a summary of a written passage and a lecture transcript. And for section 2, both in IELTS and TOEFL IBT is the same. So you have to make an opinion about the topic. So you have to make an argumentative essay. So what the trick is, make an outline. So your main idea and the short details, what you want to explain, and then try write it down with the longer sentences. And then for the speaking, IELTS and TOEFL IBT. So preparation time and response time about your opinion related to a topic. So you have to practice related to a topic with a really preparation time and response time. Usually they have a shorter preparation time, and also you have a response time, limited time. And then try to make an outline, what is your opinion about a topic, and make a short details, and then try to speak it out with more wider speaking. And then for IELTS, there are 3 sections. So the first one that is the same, the TOEFL and IBT that I already told you. And there's just two other sections: your introduction about yourself and the conversation about the previous topic. And for the TOEFL IBT, there are 4 sections. Well, I think this is only practice that is the key, because you have to make a summary of reading and listening passage, and then you have to combine important points of reading and excerpt. And you also have to summarize listening passage of a lecture and understanding the idea and details relationship. So for TOEFL IBT, mostly practicing the key. And for TOEFL ITP, the structure and written expression, understand the part of the sentence. So try to understand which one is the subject, which one is the verb or to be, and which one is the adverb of time or place, conjunctions, or is it one clause or 2 clause. And check the subject, usually if it's correct or not with the verb, is it with as or without. And also check the time, if it's in the past, in the present, or in the future. And also put the choices in the sentence and try to feel if it's fitted to the context for the structure. And for the written expression, read and feel which word doesn't fit to the sentence. Okay, know the differences between your language and English. So for English, well, actually the syntax is similar except the question and adjective phrases. For English, what are you eating? So you is in the middle, while Indonesia, kamu makan apa? So the subject is in the first, is at first. And for the verb tenses, English has a past, present, and future tense. So the verb changes um, depend on the time, while in Indonesia the verb doesn't change, and it's just need an adverb of time, the kemarin. So the makan doesn't change. It will be always makan, even though it's yesterday, kemarin, or sekarang, or tomorrow, or besok. And then the plural form is always uh, rules of the plural form in English, like usually with s or es if it's plural, but if it's irregular, then you have to really remember the words like knife to knives, woman to women, and then child to children, mouse, mice, food, feet, person, people. While in Indonesia, it's so easy that because you just need to double the word, like buku-buku, gedung-gedung, so it's so easy. And for gender, they have differentiate between he and she, while Indonesia is dia and it's not applicable. And for the pronunciation, it's always changes. There's no rule for pronunciation, so you have to really try to remember how it's pronounced. And for Indonesia, it's so easy because you can just say it even though you don't know it, but the pronunciation will always be right if you know the rules how to pronounce. So I have a friend from China, and she likes Indonesian language because she had um, boy ex-boyfriend from Indonesia, and she learned Indonesian, and she can just read Indonesian easily even though she doesn't understand it. So Indonesia is very easy. And for the adjective and noun, for the adjective, even in English, you have the rule of the order of the adjective and then the noun. So the noun is always at the end. While for Indonesian, the noun is at first and then the adjective. Mobil baru, or for in English is new car. So the car is at the end. And for addressing people, because English is a Western country, so they don't have rules to address people. Well, for Indonesian, we are Eastern country, so um, people consider the age, gender, and occupation level, how they address it. Like, is if it's older, then you say kak or bapak or ibu, and gender bapak ibu, so it's different. So that's all. And so the key takeaways here for the reading trips, of course, you need to read often, use grammar, expand vocab, analyze words, organizational styles. And then for listening tips, listen every day, use resources, listen academics, also signals, pay attention to signals. And then structure and written expression tips, make a summary, translate into English, define each word in a sentence, combine sentences, keep journal in English. And then for the writing tips, description, controversial issue, organization of good paragraph and essays, how ideas support precision. And for speaking, of course, practice speaking, studying podcast, and then mirroring, reading loud, compare with natives. And for the tricks, know the types of English tests and also the types of questions of each section of each English test. Also know the differences between languages, so your language and English. Also, to get the achievement of score, need process and training is the key. So, success is no accident. It's hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and love what you do. So you have to love English to learn. Okay? Other people can tell you what to do, how to act, but the responsibility is yours. Only you can get yourself there, your own actions, behavior, and mindset. Thank you. And I'll give you game. First number. Which test of English is international recognized test? I count to three. One, two, three. Okay. The answer is IELTS. Next one. Number two. Which test is not included in TOEFL ITP? Count to three. One, two, three. The answer is speaking. Okay, number three. Which test is not included in IELTS? Count to three again. One, two, three. Okay, wait until the three. Okay, the answer is structure and written expression. Okay, number four. Improve your skill reading, listening, speaking, writing by practicing your skill regularly. Okay, count to one, two, three. One, two, three. Yes, the answer is true. And the last one, to get achievement score need process. Training is not the key. One, two, three. Okay, the answer is false. Okay, thank you very much. See you in the next video. I'll stop sharing.